Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our REDSHORT presentation for today. I'm Bill Schenkelberg. I'll be your host today, and Jonathan Sweeney, our product manager and analyst, is going to give a presentation today on Darkweb. John, when I first started with this company several years ago, I was very confused as to what the deep and the dark web is. I think I have a better handle on that now. And then since then, you and Matt and several of the other team, created a great tool called REDPANE. So today, if you can give a brief explanation of what the dark web is for our audience, and then get into REDPANE and what we can offer our members and our future clients, hopefully. So with that, I'll pass it over to you.
Great, thanks, Bill. Good morning, everybody. John Sweeney here. So, like Bill said, we've really been studying the dark web and the underground for quite a while here. But based on just client requirements and kind of different conversations with cyber analysts, we've realized that we have a pretty good scope on the ClearNet of keylogger, breach data, things like that. But sort of a blind spot where we were doing a lot of manual analysis was the dark web, and that's because the dark web is really essentially websites that are only you can only visit these websites by connecting through the Tor network. So, a lot of people sort of refer to the dark net or the dark web as sort of a criminal underground location, but it's really when we're talking about dark websites, we're specifically talking about websites that are only accessible via Tor. So that's kind of what sort of triggered our interest in developing a dark web collections index. And with REDPANE, we wanted to monitor not only the dark web, but really any ClearNet sites as well that criminal actors are going to be discussing, their attacks or different access to different companies and things like that. So we do have some ClearNet websites being imported into our REDPANE collections, but the large majority of them are onion sites that the website is only accessible via Tor. Excuse me. And one of the nice things that, one of the benefits that we tried to create in this product is to give analysts the ability to go into CTAC, into our dashboard, and access, to be able to view information across different dark websites without actually having to connect to Tor or without having to, set up your own VM or go through the process of any of that. So you can log into CTAC now and search, ransomware, and you can search it across all the marketplaces, all the forums that we have, and it really we've cast a pretty wide scope of data that we're pulling into our REDPANE collections there. And another nice thing about our REDPANE collection specifically is that they're very flexible. So we have had customers come to us and say, hey, you're not currently looking at this, this website or this group. And typically I'd say the turnaround is within a week where we're able to identify the website, go to that website, and figure out how to get the data from that website scraped into our CTAC collections. Now, and those sites are being added pretty regularly there. And again, one of the nice benefits that I'll talk about more in a minute is the ability to track different threat actors or different current events even across different forums or different marketplaces. So to give the audience a little bit of an update from our last briefing with our chief engineer, Matt Widener, the last time we talked, I think we were around 300,000 total dark web hits, and we have now beefed it up to over 621,000 quality dark web hits there. So, and that's we've got about 5 dozen dark websites that we're monitoring, and like I said, we're trying to increase the quality and along with the quantity of that every day. Just some sort of general statistics here. So, we've got different. So like I said, we're breaking the REDPANE into 3 different categories. We've got our marketplaces. We've got our ransomware leak sites. So, groups like DarkSide or Revil who, they hit you with ransomware and then they go and leak your data online, those kind of websites. And then we've also got our forums. So in the top left of your screen here, you can see the 20 most active categories in marketplaces. And about 50% of all goods being sold on the dark web based on our collections are in the category of digital goods and web applications. You can also see some social engineering stuff there, some cards and CDV info, but the large majority are digital goods such as code to malware or some software as a service type good that they're selling online. And like I talked about tracking actors across different forums, we've also got a dashboard for the top 10 threat actors that we've seen across our dark web data. So here you can see Golden Member accounts for about 15% of the top threat actor activity that we've seen in our dark web data. And then in the bottom left here, the chart there that you see, we're also tracking different, like I said, different ransomware leak groups. We've got Avedon, Revil, Pisa, Clop, and Nephilim there. And I'll talk a little bit more about groups like Avedon in a minute here. But this gives the ability so that if you suspect that maybe somebody in your supply chain or one of your clients may have been hit by ransomware and isn't necessarily disclosing that information, you can go into CTAC and actually do a search on that company and see, has their domain been listed on a ransomware leak site, or have they been part of maybe another company's ransomware attack? Because we have seen that as well. In the middle, you can see some of our top marketplaces. You can see the top marketplace that we have recently is the UAS RDP market. This is a marketplace where people go and sell access to remote desktop or RDP devices that they have infected or that they have gained access to. So some of our larger clients can actually go in or even some of our smaller clients can go in and search, is somebody selling access to one of my networks on this website? And we can often tell you, how much. And sadly, on the RDP market, I've seen access going for, less than $10, which is pretty scary. All the way to the right there on the bottom, we've got our forum broken down. Again, that's our XSS. We've got Rutor, the Avengers forum, and Colchan. And it's not listed here because we try to keep our personas and things like that private. But we do have access to some invite only or some paid forums. It's not necessarily going to be on these briefings, but if you have any interest in those particular forums, we do have access to different sites like that. So always feel free to reach out to me if you ever have any questions about the specific websites that we're scraping. I will. And one other thing I want to mention here is we can also, just like we're tracking different threat actors or individuals, we can also track partnerships between different groups. So, for example, we were able to quickly track the connection between AstroLocker, Mount Locker, and the Jing Team ransomware groups, and also, we've noticed at least a conversational connection between Revil and the dark side ransomware groups. And we are monitoring both English and non-English or foreign websites and marketplaces. So there's all different kinds of data that you're going to find inside of our REDPANE collections. So just to give a little bit more of an update on the specific new sites that we've added. So just recently, in the past week or two, we've added the Lorenz ransomware group. We've added their leak site to our collections, the Synac file leaks as well. And we've actually found a dark leak market site that is selling for relatively cheaply, selling access to different data breaches that have been posted online. Now, this is not necessarily a specific actor who has stolen this data and themselves and has it. It's most likely that this group or this actor is reselling data that has been provided to them by other threat actors. But like I said, we're always adding new websites to our REDPANE collections and always trying to identify sort of different areas where threats may come out of. And the reason for that is because, like we always say, attackers are creative. So, in some cases, you're going to be looking at a website and monitoring it routinely. Other times, actors are going to put up a website for maybe a week, maybe a month, and then they're going to take it down and pop up somewhere else. So with REDPANE, we've tried to avoid playing the game of manual whack-a-mole on the internet and trying to, track these actors across different sites, and just putting all this information and data into a centralized database inside of CTAC alongside our other data sets so that people can, again, search multiple different platforms, multiple different sites, and multiple different actors without having to, go through the long process of doing manual dark web research, because it is fairly intensive. One of the other sort of benefits to our REDPANE collections that we've noticed very recently is, since we started this in January, we were lucky enough to begin scraping from websites that have actually been taken down. Like I said, those threat actors that kind of pop up and then disappear and go somewhere else. We were able to track different threat actors, such as the Dark Side group. We did scrape NetWalker before they went down. So there are groups that will, and I'm sure there are other websites that we've scraped that have been taken down since. But these are just two examples of websites that, if you're an incident responder and you want to go to the NetWalker site to say, what are people saying about me, or I see my customer got hit, but now I can't see what was listed on that website. Go into CTAC, type in that customer's name, and now you've got all the information that was listed on the NetWalker's listing without having to actually visit the website and sort of risk that actual active contact with the website. Same thing with DarkSide. They were a huge nuisance, but once they got caught in their most recent attack, the website got shut down. And again, if you want to go find out, who was hit by DarkSide, or I think one of my clients was hit by DarkSide, but since the website's been taken down, I don't know what data was posted. Those are questions that you can answer inside of CTAC with our REDPANE collections. And I always like to stress the biggest part of this is, we didn't just segment REDPANE collections. It's not just a single dark web tool. REDPANE is in addition to all of our other threat intelligence. So, you can not only search the dark web, but now I can search for breach data. I can search for malicious emails. I can search for keylogger and pastebin data, but I can also search that side by side with the REDPANE collections. So I can see, is this username and password listed on the dark web, as well as a ClearNet breach data file that was listed somewhere. So just a couple of things that we can do with REDPANE, and really, the goal is to go out and observe as much of the dark web as we find to be valuable, and to take that data and really make it, put it in a nice organized format for analysts to go through and really bolster their internal cybersecurity. And like I said, we've added some pretty significant, valuable forums that I think people will really find interesting. And one of the last things I'll talk about too is the ability to hunt for different threats. So not only am I going in and looking for WAPAC Labs and the WAPAC Labs domain and our phone number, but also as a threat hunter, I'm looking for people talking about malicious Telegram channels. I'm looking for threat actors talking about new vulnerabilities, or maybe a 0-day that they're talking about. So not only can I search CTAC for people talking about me as an individual or my company, but I can also search it for general topics, like if I'm doing a pen test and I want to see if anybody online has been successful in exploiting PHP or something along those lines. I can just type that into CTAC as a query, and now I've got some underground sort of criminal information that I can use legally if obviously I'm doing a pen test. But it just provides you an additional platform for threat hunting alongside the data that was already in CTAC, which is, in my opinion, very valuable. So that's pretty much what I have for REDPANE there, and regarding our recent updates. Bill.
Great explanation, John. I appreciate that. And I want to let the audience know that back here at the lab, we have on one of our whiteboards goals, trying to achieve certain goals in our collection of our REDPANE data. And I know it's been steadily increasing every single week. So you and your team have been really working hard in getting this REDPANE up and running. REDPANE being the window pane into the dark web, right?
Right. Yep.
With that, why don't we dive into our current cyber threats for our audience here today?
Great. Yeah, sure. So going to our top trending cyber threats this week, so looking at our malicious email subject lines, it looks like we got some voicemail phishing going on with the top subject line. And the bottom two happen to have a noticeably similar format with the subject in all caps, and then is coming. You can see coming is spelled incorrectly in both cases, indicating that it's most likely probably the same person attempting to send multiple different, or the same actor or actor group trying to send malicious emails. The malware that is contained in those emails is a little bit different, but again, those subject lines are most likely, those emails are most likely stemming from the same actor or threat group. Looking at our code repository secrets, so we see over 1,000 user credential sets as part of URIs listed in code repositories. We have seen over the years, just routinely, every once in a while, we just see a company that, accidentally they listed some information in their code repository and it was used to gain access to some significant database or something like that. So we always recommend for people to be out there monitoring what's listed in your code repositories and if it's public or private. And we've got some tools to help you do that. Our sinkhole indicators. So we continue to see Telecom Malaysia connecting to both open and privately sourced sinkholes, and Saudi Arabia has actually got a couple networks sending quite a bit of traffic to our sinkhole collections this week. Regarding the top keylogger attacker servers this week, 4 out of the 5 top keylogger servers this week serve REDPANE, but the Akundi Band 22 at mail.ru actually has more hits in CTAC than the rest of the 4 out of 5 combined. So pretty significant C2 there for the Hawkeye keyloggers malware. So with that, in the Intel world, an analyst is expected to be brief, be bright, and be gone. And we hope that our REDSHORT briefs are just that, and you found today's brief of interest and useful. That's all I've got today, Bill. If anybody missed any previous briefs, they can check them out on our portal at redskyalliance.org/redshorts.
As always, great presentation, and I get the dubious distinction to say hello, goodbye, and thank you. So thank everyone for coming here today. We have these on a weekly basis, and once a month we have a talk with one of our clients, which we think is going to be interesting, which is going to be next week. We're going to be talking with one of our clients on a great subject to be announced soon. And if you have any questions on anything we talked about or want to get in touch with any of us, please contact Jay McKee at wallpacklabs.com. And with that, I will say goodbye to everyone. See you all next week. Thank you.
Thanks all.